Boomshki there, Jeffrey. Did you found your glasses?
I did.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks ago, they were in my bedroom now on this little shelfie thingy that I put them down where I never put them, and then and so I just happened to be walking back into the room, and they were like eye level, like I'm an idiot. Found them.
Well, that's better than this. That's better when I go, hey babe, have you seen my reading glasses?
Right.
She goes, yeah, I have.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, they're right on your frickin' face, moron. Oh, okay. Yeah, oh God, you're right.
Yeah, I have, and I can't believe I'm related to you.
Right. I think we're still in the trial period here. Hey,
Yeah.
well, let's get to it because I know you got something you want to chat about today. And this is when actually this episode gets published. It's going to be a few days after, if not more than a few days after the actual event that we're going to talk about. That's cool. But I want to welcome everyone to another episode of Gold Ball Hunting. I'm Brent Abel, Jeff Jacklich right there. At least for me, he's there. For you, I think he's over there.
Come on, yeah.
It's okay.
Well,
one of the sides. And we are publishing a new episode of our podcast every day. You can find us on YouTube, also iTunes and Stitcher, depending on what audio format is your preference. And we're dispensing the goods.
The goods. The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff. We got 3 players in mind, the tournament guys and gals who are still trying to get through those first couple of rounds, whether it's a local tournament or maybe even a national event. Let's help you guys get through to some of the big guys and start challenging them later in the tournament. We're also helping league players solidify their rating. And for those of you who are already pretty solid at your rating, let's take you up the next rating label if that's what you want to do. Or if you want to keep sandbagging, that's fine too. Whatever you want. And then the other players are our Wednesday night brew crew who, trash talking is probably the main event in that thing.
Totally. Yeah.
So anyway, guys, we got a couple of cool things for you. Number one, we got a private video that Jeff and I shot months ago. Was that January, February? That was good 4 months ago. And it's going to help you reduce your skill level range. Right? The top of your skill level. We want to make sure every day you're playing up to the top of your ability, not going out there one day playing great and then going out the next day and not so great. So we want the not so great to be pretty close to the very top. We got a private video that'll help you do that. We're also offering a free 10-minute coaching call. The 3 of us. It's private. You, me, and Jeff. We get in the phone, little conference call, and we dig in and find out one thing in your game right now that is holding you back from getting the result you want. The way to get those 2 cool things, go over to goldballhunting.com, put in your first name, your email address, click the button, and you'll get access to all the good stuff over there. Jeff, we were chatting about Coco Gauff. However you want to say it.
Somebody comment on phonetically how you say the name, because he's not butchering it on purpose.
Well, I believe
I've heard that golf.
I think it's French. It's just a hunch. I don't. This is
right.
not. This is not anything other than what I'm thinking. But yeah, we saw her today, and again, this is post. This one's coming out in a few days, so it's well after the event. But we watched her today take down Rybayakova or something,
right.
But she was a semifinalist at Wimbledon 2 years ago. World class player. A lot of experience.
So she's okay. She's an okay player.
I think she's not too shabola. So
is that French?
Oui, monsieur. Shabola. So anyway, what's the one thing, Jeff, that you watched today in Coco Gauff that really stood out for you?
Well, first, there's all with an athlete that she is. I mean, there's all the intangibles that are just there. It's part of the DNA. She's an incredible just athlete. At 15, she mentally seems to be able to keep her stuff together, and conduct herself on the court like a seasoned veteran. Very impressive. Just the way she moves on the court is amazing. Her instincts are really incredible, I think, at age 15. And again, I don't know that you can teach that level of court awareness and instinctual kind of shot selection that she does. It's pretty phenomenal. But what I noticed the most, though, and this transcends technique and athleticism and all those things, and that is how quickly she prepares to hit the ball. It is bar none the biggest thing that just stuck out for me when I was watching her play. It's just like, oh my gosh, this girl is like just it's lightning fast, and she just, boom, she's there, and then she's just waiting to crank on the ball. And it's such a beautiful thing to watch. So if there's any, one thing that anybody can take away from what she does, prepare.
Yeah.
That quickly.
Well, look, I think prep, I'm not sure because we have kind of worked through getting into the hitting position ASAP and as soon as possible. We've done that over, a few of the recent podcast episodes. But one thing, Maya and I were out eating lunch today, and they happened to have Tennis Channel or I guess it was ESPN on, and we're sitting there watching, and same thing for me. Every time she was on the side of the camera, I didn't watch the point. I just watched the exact same thing. And you could hear the ball being hit over there, and she was like instantly prepared.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, it's weird because I feel myself sometimes I know the ball's on my right, but I'm kind of going, okay, I'll get there. Where it's like I'm thinking, do I have to prepare right now? I mean, why not take my time, or why not just kind of commit? And to me, it's like, as soon as, and to me, I don't think it could be a natural thing, an instinctive thing. And certainly, though, I think at the pro level, for a kid who just turned 15 in March, you've got to be trained. You have got to be trained over and over and over again, that the moment your brain says forehand, there's no sort of turn. There's no, I'm kind of going to turn and then I'll load up with a big thing.
Right.
And, it's interesting that we're talking about this. I just thought about one of the things Mr. Stowe, told me is that you don't want to get halfway turned, and then your swing is the first part of your swing is the finish of getting turned, and right. So then it becomes a back and forward in one motion, and then the timing has to be, out of this world.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it once in a while, but to be able to do it over and over. So how do you coach that? How do you? I mean, other than just flat out drilling it, that you can mix up balls from side to side to a student.
Right.
How do you just drill that response, a full prep into the hitting position, so that you got all day?
Well, just the one word you said, drill.
Yeah.
Mind-numbing repetition. I think the other thing too that's really critical is you don't use the ball as your timing device for your preparation. And this is what a lot of league players do, and which is why sometimes their strokes then can become their technique may not be that inconsistent. Their technique may be, let's say, fairly repeatable and sustainable, but they're allowing the ball to dictate how fast. What you're saying
prepare. is they're allowing the speed of the incoming ball to
determine how fast they prep.
Right.
And that little thing right there you're just a puppet on a string now. The ball comes slow, I prepare slow. The ball comes fast, I prepare fast. And nothing will mess up your timing more than that little issue there.
That's really a great point.
So I always coach my students to say, you have to be independent of the ball. You are working independently of the ball. You have to detach yourself from it in this instance, because
keep talking while I write this down, because that's gold right there. You have to be independent. Okay, go ahead. Keep
That the
rolling.
ball doesn't dictate how fast you prepare.
Right.
It just doesn't. And so when you can start to push yourself, because I will tell you this, when you start to work independently of the ball, you will find that all of a sudden you have days of time to wait to hit the ball. You have days of time to run up to it. You have tons of time. There's a weird kind of like little time warp thing that happens when you start to prepare that fast. Literally, it seems like the ball slows down.
Well, I also think there's a level of confidence that you give yourself when you feel that you're really super prepared for something, and
Right.
that if you're not, if just like you say, if you're trying to time the prep with the speed of the incoming ball,
Yeah.
man, oh man, I think your confidence is just shaky ground.
Yeah. And listen, I've seen some of this stuff on some of the the other YouTube channels and coaching things, and I've listened to it, and I've seen the guys go, yeah, with the incoming ball, you want to time the loop and everything to the incoming, and I'm like, my head's ready to like spin off my shoulders, going. So every ball that's incoming has a different swing pass, swing tempo.
So you never develop any feel for the swing.
No. No,
Yeah.
you have to because you have to be the independence from the ball also helps you dictate how much do I want to absorb, how much do I want to give back. So just because an incoming ball is coming hard doesn't mean I have to hit it hard back. I can hit a roller, I can absorb it, hit a nothing ball deep. I mean, whatever I choose to do, that's up to you. The ball doesn't dictate that. But it can if I'm attached to it and using the ball as my timing device for my preparation. That is the fastest way to find the drain. A big swirly. There it goes. I mean, it'll take your timing, off the hook just very quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think about,
anyway.
I look at return to serve, and one of the things I try to coach my students to do is on return to serve is if you're returning serve and if your serving opponent hits their serve into the net, check to see how far you've turned. And to me, that's like such a tangible measurement that if you're only about here, you're basically getting out of your forward-facing position, and the serve goes in the net and you're only about here, take yourself all the way to where you should be for a forehand or backhand so you feel that's where I want to be when that serve crosses the top of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great little check. Absolutely. That's a great idea.
Good, man. Well, listen, this is a short but sweet little episode today. Guys, I hope you kind of got what I thought Jeff really, that was a great thing about the independence, about being independent of the speed of the ball coming in terms of your prep, is you've got to be the one that actually controls how fast you get prepped. And, we talked about this, I don't know if it was yesterday, a couple of days ago, about the soft hands, is that you'll be slower to get into that full hitting position that you're talking about if you've got too much grip tension. So really check to make sure that your hands are soft. When's the only time that we maybe have to firm up the grip? Maybe a contact, maybe a hair.
Well, I think that's a natural. I think it's a natural outcropping of the athletic, process.
Right.
It's no different than you're catching a ball. You naturally, close your hand over and grip it enough to hold on to it. You don't death grip it.
Right.
Catching a football, you cradle it in.
Absorb.
It's not, you don't lock your arms out, stiff it.
Squeeze the ball. Right.
A tennis ball is the same thing. And we can go back to, episodes a few months ago when we were talking a lot about, send and receive. And that's what that is. When you are independent of the ball, it's way easier to understand that concept of receiving the ball into your hitting position and then sending it where you want it to. When you're independent, that process becomes way more tangible and recognizable.
Beautiful. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate it. Jeffrey, what do we want the fine folks to do right now at this moment in their lives?
like us,
Yeah.
share us,
All right.
subscribe, let us know what you think down below.
Oh, cool, man. Guys, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, we'll do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.